Now, what's billed as the UK's first multi-charity store has opened to shoppers. Charity Supermarket at Brent Cross Shopping Centre in London sells donated clothing supplied by 10 UK charities. It comes as second-hand fashion is gaining in popularity amid the rising cost of living and a higher demand for sustainable shopping. The pop-up store, which is staffed by volunteers, will be open for a month at the North London Shopping Centre. Well, with us is Maria Chenoweth, who is the Chief Executive of Trade. And we're also joined by fashion designer Wayne Hemingway. And this department store is the brainchild of both of them. Thank you very much for joining us here on BBC News. Maria, how did you come up with the idea?
It was from talking to charity retailers and knowing that charity retail is the best sustainable, healthy, brilliant way of shopping on the high street. And yeah, we wanted to make it even more mainstream than, what it is and has been in the past. And I think we've achieved that.
Wayne, how are you going to make it appealing? I mean, charity shops have had to sort of up their game in recent years, haven't they?
Well, this stems partly from, Hemingway Design, we're urban designers, and we do a lot of town centre and shopping centre regeneration and making master plans for it and everything. And the amount of times that I go into meetings with elected politicians, local politicians, and they say, oh, Wayne and the Hemingway team, can you reduce the number of charity shops in our town centre? And I just go, why would you want to do that? It's attracting the widest demographic. It's got the biggest growth. And it doesn't mean bang goes the neighbourhood. Everything about charity shopping is about purpose, is about the circular economy, it is about provenance. And you certainly want more charity shops than you do fast fashion shops, because that is the way the world is going. That is where the Gen Zs, the millennials, are shopping. The growth in it is phenomenal. Uplifts of 20%. Charities are experiencing uplifts of 20% a year while retail is declining. And when you start to look at the demographics behind that and the stats behind it, you'll see that it is, a real spread, but predominantly middle class, young people who are doing it for the right reasons.
And Maria, you can find some really top-notch bargains in some places these days, can't you? People are sort of giving away high-quality garments.
Yeah, people give their really good garments to charities as a way of giving to a good cause. And so at Charity Supermarket, currently we've just got 10 amazing charities. So from Bernardo's, Shelter, Trade, Havens Hospice, Emmaus, All Aboard. So when you're donating clothes and buying from charity retail, it's a way of giving and raising funds for causes and areas of society which are not being given enough funding.
But Wayne, designers, manufacturers, retailers, surely they rely on us to buy new, because that's how they make a profit, and that's how we end up with stuff that can end up in a charity shop.
Yeah, but there's a level of that, isn't there? Obviously, we live in a society where people buy and sell things and make things, and that employs people. But there's also, you can do too much, sometimes. And when you look at, you can buy a T-shirt in some of the high street shops for £3. You've got to think, how the heck is that done? There's going to be some dodgy stuff going on behind that. And on top of that, to do that, you're using cotton that won't be sustainable. There is so much to take into account here. But what I must say is this, this is the most important thing that I've been witnessing in these 3 days, and they've been a phenomenal 3 days in Brent Cross in Charity Supermarket, it's the busiest shop in Brent Cross right now. There's no doubt about that. You've got John Lewis next door, which feels quiet compared to Charity Supermarket. The only other store that I can see that is packed is Apple, because they are looking at the future. This is the future, and young people, and not just young people, know it. And the main thing to do is, and what we've achieved here, and this is the kind of irony in it. This is in an old Topshop. This is in a chain, a former chain that the public voted, because they didn't shop in it anymore, to not, to go under. It's we, the public, that closes shops. And yet they're in that same unit, in that same location, and it's packed from front to back with people queuing at the tills, with people queuing at the changing rooms. And it feels like being in the prime of Topshop, in 1988 or in the 1990s, but this time it's not fast fashion. This time it's purposeful. This time it's all the money is going to a good cause. This time the money's not going offshore. This time every pound that you spend is a good pound. And what is better than that?
Well, you've clearly hit on something. Just very briefly, Maria, how likely is it that this could become permanent somewhere?
Oh my God, we've had so much positive response and so much demand that it's been a bit overwhelming. So we're just sort of taking stock at the moment. And yeah, we will be making this bigger and better and raising more funds for those amazing charity retailers.
Maria Chenoweth and Wayne Hemingway, thank you very much for joining us here on BBC News.
Thank you.
Thanks.